Hello guys, I'm going to be showing you how to automate things in Revit by making your own plugins. By the end of the video, you'll be able to start making your own automations. And I want to start off by showing some automations that I made using the methods I'm going to show you here in Revit. So I have this advanced tagging plugin. You can select very specific elements that you want tagged. You can apply very specific settings and you can save and load configurations. This allows you to tag a bunch of stuff across multiple sheets without having to do all of it manually. I also have this fast door window creator. It just takes the annoying dialogue of making new doors and windows and makes them much faster. I also have this one, which I'm going to be showing you how to make in this tutorial, which hides items in the visibility graphics settings so that you don't have to go here and locate the item and then uncheck it. It just makes a slightly annoying process less annoying. In this video, I'm going to be giving you some basic rundown of how this works. I also offer personal guidance where I'll work with you to make plugins for your firm. I'll get you past the learning curve and show you a bunch of advanced stuff, and that's accessible on my website, revitautomated.com. But even if you don't intend on spending any money with me, that's totally fine. You can still watch this video and get some really useful information on how you can speed up the work you do in Revit and make it so you're doing less annoying tasks with your life. By the way, some of these plugins I showed you are available for free on my website, revitautomated.com. Yeah, if you really want to take your business to the next level and get it to a point to where you've really properly automated lots of things which make your life super easy, definitely you want to go through my training program, which I offer. I'll be giving you a quick tutorial on how to make your own Revit plugins using AI with no coding knowledge necessary. You'll need the full version of Revit, so not the LT version, which doesn't allow for plugins. You'll need Microsoft Visual Studio, which allows you to take computer code and turn it into programs which can be used by Revit. And you'll need Cloud AI, which is similar to ChatGPT or Grok, except it's a little bit better for coding specifically with Revit plugins. All right, so you can just search for Visual Studio on Google, and I'll give you a guide on how to download this. So I click Downloads, Community, Free Download, and it'll start to download here. So once you get to this page, you'll click .NET over here, and then you just click Install. Now this will take a while, so you can just wait for this to finish. And so we currently have been installing the 2026 version of Visual Studio, and it comes with .NET 10.0, which isn't what we want. We need 8.0 specifically for Revit 2026. If you're using a different Revit, you can look it up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to type .NET 8.0 in Google, click download, and then click times 64 over here under Windows. And you'll just allow that to download. All right, so you'll just click install. Yep. Might have to restart Visual Studio. Once you have the .NET 8.0 installed, you just create a new project inside Visual Studio. And for Revit plugins, we're going to select class library here, which in this case is the second option. Tutorial. And then we'll select 8.0 here, create, and yep, here you are. And so one frame of reference I really like is the Autodesk website's Revit plugin tutorial, lesson 1. And one thing that I think is kind of stupid is they teach you all this like useless information from here all the way into the other lessons, which go into like very specific information about how to do coding, but it's totally useless. It's much faster if you just use AI. It's gonna save you having to learn how to do computer coding and how to work with Revit's API. But yeah, and you can go through here and look at the beginning part of this website, and it'll actually give you some good information over here about like how to set up a specific file, but I'll also show you right now. So let's see, I think you click here, right click here, and then let's do properties, and I just right clicked the C# thing here, this one. Okay, as you go to build here, and then platform target times 64. Let's see where that is on the website. Yep, times 64. They also say to do the warning suppression, but this is totally unnecessary. Then what you also do is you go to dependencies, right click, you add project references, and every single project you do, you're going to need to use the Revit API. And you'll go to this PC, program files, Autodesk, Revit. You'll scroll down and all the way down to the R's. And you want to do Revit API.dll and Revit API UI.dll. Then click Add. And you'll click OK. And in the future, you'll be able to find these easier without having to look them up in the computer. You click OK. Alright, so for this tutorial, we're going to be doing a very basic plugin, and what I decided to do is to make it faster to hide items using the visibility graphics settings. And so you might not be familiar with this workflow depending on how exactly you use Revit. So I'll show an example. Let's say I want to hide all the doors from the specific view. I can click visibility graphics here, then I can look for doors in this long list of every item, click apply, OK. And so I'm just going to make that process easier by adding a command which allows you to select the door and then hide all the doors using the visibility graphic settings. So I'm going to open up Cloud AI, and Cloud AI, there's a free version. For coding, I'd recommend getting the $20 version, or depending on how much you're doing, you might even need the $100 version if you're working with huge files and you're working on it all day and trying to get them done quickly. But what I'm going to look up is, I'm just going to tell Cloud what exactly I'm trying to do. So, and C# is the coding language that is used in Visual Studio. It's like a C hashtag is how you would type that. Alright, so I'm searching I'm trying to make a plugin command in Revit from a C# plugin that allows you to select an item, run the command, and it hides that item's category via the visibility graphic settings. Is this possible? Tell me what it would look like. Alright, this seems extremely simple, so what I'll do is just copy this. Okay, so it looks like it's shown 0 errors. Now we're going to build solution. Alright, perfect. Now let's test it out in Revit. And before we do that, we're going to need to do some other setup. By the way, if any of this setup stuff seems complicated, just practice a few times and it'll become super easy, second nature before you know it. So we put the folder here, and when we do build, like I just showed you, it's going to put the DLL file over here somewhere, and it's this. Now I'm going to show you how to do the add-in file. So percentage program data percentage here, Autodesk Revit add-ins 2026, and we'll do right-click, new, and then text document, and we'll call it tutorial dot add-in. Okay, open this up, and by the way, on the Autodesk website, they've got an example of what an add-in file looks like for lesson 1. If you scroll down, might be in lesson, oh, here it is. So they've got this example here, which you can copy and paste. And let's see, name, it's going to be tutorial. This one, I think it's going to be, in our case, tutorial.class name. And if we go back to Visual Studio, yeah, you can see class 1 tutorial. Let's see. If I did this wrong, it'll be fine. We'll be able to see the error and correct it. And you also, like, when you're doing this, you can always copy and paste this into AI and ask it to update it for what you need, and it'll tell you exactly what to do. Let's see, this stuff doesn't matter. Okay, assembly. So here you need to put the location of this DLL file that we opened earlier. So one thing you can do is you right click on tutorial.dll in our case. By the way, it's called tutorial because we named it tutorial. Oh, so you can right click here, properties, then location, copy this, put it into, to see what I'm pasting first, copy to that part, then copy this and paste. Oh yeah, and so for add-in ID, this is something that's important. Let's see. What you do here in Visual Studio is, I think you do tools, then create GUID, copy, I'm gonna copy this part of it and put it over here. And yeah, this is just a random set of numbers. that you need to get the numbers from doing that, but it's not tied to anything. So don't worry too much about this aspect. And yeah, that looks good. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes there, so I'll save it, close. And when we go back to the tutorial, whenever you click on it, you should see everything updated. I'm going to close Revit and start it from scratch, and we're going to see what happens with the code. And while Revit is loading, I'll actually give you an example of what happens if like there's an error in your code, because a lot of times when you get a code from cloud, it'll have errors, which is no big deal. What you can do is select these two errors, and I'm holding control to select both of them. You can do copy rows, and so cloud here, I'll say I messed up the code. Here are the errors. Tell me what's wrong. Paste. And then I'll also just copy the whole code. This isn't really the best way to do this, but for what I'm trying to show you in the tutorial, we'll just do this example. And bam! This is why I love AI. You delete this, and the errors went away. Alright, so yeah, here it's giving us a publisher warning. That's normal. Only way to get rid of this is to register the plugin with a company that works with Autodesk to make this plugin go away. But we're not worried about that since we made the code. We can trust it. Alright, now let's see if the plugin actually works. Let's see what happens. If it gives us an error, then we'll just tell the AI what the error is, and it'll give us a solution. And by the way, sometimes what will happen is you make a plugin, and basically, in order to make plugins, you need to be working with the Revit API, which is pretty much a set of coding instructions, or I don't even know what the exact terminology is, but it works with Revit, and it's limited, so you can't do absolutely everything. There's some limitations, but there's a lot of stuff you can do which will drastically reduce the amount of time you're spending in Revit in order to produce your products. Alright, so it's going to be in the add-ins here. I should have named it differently in the txt file, because now we have duplicates from Lab 1 Place Groups is from the Autodesk tutorial, and yeah, it's giving us this error. So alright, so I'm going to be fast forwarding through this portion of the video just to keep the video short, but what happened here is I forgot to mention to the AI that I named the project tutorial, and so what I'm doing here is I'm copying the add-in file, and I'm telling the AI what the error I received was, and it's giving me the correct code, which I'm copying from cloud and pasting into Visual Studio. Right, we built the solution already. I think, no wait, maybe not. Okay, we built it, which updates it, and every time you build the solution, which is updating it updates this file every time you do build, and that's why it requires you to restart Revit so that you're reading the fresh version of the file, right? Add-ins, tutorial, and bam, amazing. Let's see if it actually worked here. Yeah, it did. That's crazy. One way to think about it is like the more plugins you build, you'll eventually get to a point where you're streamlining your workflow so much that you're just going to be able to like focus entirely on just designing the projects, and you'll be able to quickly automatically do everything else, like all the sheets, all the repetitive tedious tasks, and it'll improve your quality of life a lot. What I wanted to show you is that, yeah, these work just like regular commands. So we can go to the View tab up here, user interface, keyboard shortcuts, search for tutorial, and we'll add the shortcut to you. Assign, okay, and yeah, you can just click the door to you. Oh, and that's one thing is I first said I wanted to make it so that I select it and I do the command. It's not working, it's making me select after I run the command. That's something that can easily be changed with Cloud. I would just say I want it to work after I already have an item selected as well. And yeah, I'm not going to test this out. Thank you for watching. Check out my website, revitautomated.com, where I offer some free plugins as well as tutorials where I really go into depth teaching you like the really advanced stuff, which allows you to do all this stuff I'm showing you in a much faster, much better way. And I'm going to be practicing along with you and automating aspects of your production flow in Revit alongside with you. And I'll be showing you everything you need to know to really get past the learning curve. All the stuff that took me, 2 months of working on this every day to figure out, you'll be able to skip that learning curve and get working much faster. Thank you so much for watching.